It is the conditioned and objective consciousness of man that represents the world and all that exists within it. Consciousness is both the source and the substance of the whole universe. Thus, if we want to find out the mystery of creation, we must go to consciousness. The topic of this audio is the skill of bringing your desires into reality. You will get an explanation of the mechanism that is used in the construction of the visible world at this point. It is a brief audio recording, yet it is of utmost significance. There is a treasure in it, a clear and certain road to fulfill your ambitions, and if it is feasible, it will offer conviction to another person by means of reasoned reasons and specific examples. This audio would be several times larger than its current size, yet it is quite unlikely that this could be accomplished by the use of written assertions or arguments. Given the suspended verdict, it is always conceivable to infer that the author was dishonest or ignorant, and as a result, his evidence was contaminated. This is because the conviction was suspended. In light of this, I have purposefully left out all of the arguments and testimonies, and I would want to simply challenge those individuals who are willing to listen to me and who have an open mind to put into practice the law of conscience as it is presented here. There are a lot of videos, CDs and books that could be published on Neville Goddard, but the evidence that comes from personal accomplishment will be far more persuasive than all of those things together. With the knowledge of the law of awareness and the way of putting this law into practice, you will be able to do whatever that you want to accomplish in your life. Through the acquisition of information about the operation of this rule, you will be able to construct and preserve a perfect world for yourself and for everyone else. Not metaphorically, but practically, consciousness is the only reality that exists. This reality may be likened to a stream that splits into two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. This comparison will help to elaborate on the concept more thoroughly. It is essential to have an understanding of the link that exists between the conscious and the subconscious in order to operate the law of consciousness in an informed manner. The subconscious is impersonal and does not make any choices, in contrast to the conscious, which is both personal and selective. Both the awareness and the subconscious are considered to be the realms of consequence and causation, respectively. The masculine and female divisions of awareness are represented by these two qualities. These thoughts are imprinted on the subconscious by the conscious, which is responsible for their generation. Ideas are received by the subconscious, which then gives them shape. By this rule, all things grow from the awareness, and without this sequence, there is nothing that has not been done. This law states that the first step is to conceive a concept, and then the second step is to imprint the idea that has been conceived on the subconscious. The subconscious is the one that expresses all that is imprinted on it, whereas the conscious is the one that imprints on the subconscious. The unconscious mind does not generate ideas. Rather, it accepts as true those that the conscious mind considers to be true. Furthermore, the subconscious, in a manner that is only known to the subconscious, gives the accepted concepts a sense of objectification. Therefore, man has authority over his creation since he has the ability to imagine and feel, as well as the freedom to pick the notion that he will entertain throughout his time. Having command over your thoughts and emotions is the means by which you may exert control over your subconscious. Hidden inside the depths of the subconscious, the matrix of creation, lies the mechanism that is responsible for the creation of things. In addition to being outside the realm of reason, the subconscious is not reliant on induction. It considers a sensation to be a reality that exists inside itself, and then, supposing that this is the case, it continues to give expression to the feeling. An idea is the starting point of the creative process, which proceeds via a cycle that starts with a sensation and culminates in a desire to take action. It is via the conduit of emotion that ideas are imposed onto the subconscious by the mind. There is no way for a thought to be stored in the subconscious until it is experienced. But once it is experienced, regardless of whether it is positive, negative, or neutral, it must be communicated. There is no other means by which thoughts may be sent to the subconscious but via the experience of feeling. As a result, a guy who is unable to exercise control over his emotions is more likely to be able to quickly impress the subconscious with undesirable moods. The term controlling feelings does not refer to the act of repressing or suppressing thoughts. Rather, it refers to the discipline of oneself to envision and appreciate only those feelings that add to one's pleasure. Controlling one's emotions is a very crucial component of living a full and happy life. In no circumstance should you ever allow yourself to feel unwelcome or endorse any type of bigotry. In order to avoid imprinting the subconscious with restrictions that you do not desire, it is important to avoid focusing on your own shortcomings as well as those of other people. Allow everything to be done to you, and do not have the feeling that it is being done to you or to another person. This is the whole rule of IU for living a full and happy life. Everything else is just rhetoric. Every sensation leaves an impact on the subconscious, and that impression must be communicated until it is countered by a more intense feeling of a different sort. When there are two emotions, the one that is dominant is the one that has the ability to express itself. I am healthy is a more powerful sensation than I will be healthy. To feel that it is seen is to admit that I am not healthy. I am is more powerful than I am not. What you feel you are always takes precedence over what you feel you would want to do. Therefore, in order for want to be met, it must have the sensation of being in a condition in which it is already a reality, rather than being in a situation in which it is not a reality. Feeling is the basis upon which all manifestation is built, and it comes before manifestation really occurs. It is essential that you pay attention to your emotions and feelings, because there is an unbroken link between your feelings and the reality that you can see. Your body acts as a filter for your emotions and carries the unmistakable signs of the emotions that you experience most often. Emotional problems, particularly the repression of feelings, are identified as the root cause of all illness. Intense feelings surrounding some hurt, without verbalizing or expressing them, are the origin of sickness, both in the body and in the environment. This is true for both external and internal factors. The sense of regret or failure that comes from not opening up is caused by the fact that sickness is the outcome of dissatisfaction or alienation from your purpose. Think exclusively about the sensations associated with the state you want to achieve. Every seeming miracle may be traced back to the process of experiencing the reality of the condition that is being sought, and then living and acting from that belief. Every single change in expression is brought about by a shift in the way one is experiencing. Changing one's feelings is the same as changing one's fate. All of the creative process takes place inside the realm of the subconscious. Thus, what you need to acquire is a reflective control over the functioning of the subconscious, which allows you to exercise control over your thoughts and emotions. There is no such thing as chance or accident being accountable for the things that occur to you, nor is predetermined destiny the one who is responsible for your good fortune or bad luck. The circumstances of your environment are determined by the impressions that your subconscious has experienced. It is not selective, it is impersonal, and it does not respect individuals. However, the subconscious is not selective. When it comes to your feelings, the subconscious does not care if they are genuine or not. It will always accept as true whatever it is that you believe to be true. The sensation is the way in which the subconscious mind gives its approval to the reality of what is being said to be true. Whatever a man's consciousness is capable of conceiving and feeling to be real, the subconscious is able to and must objectify and communicate. This is because the subconscious has this property, which makes it impossible for man to be incapable of anything. When you alter your emotions, you are also changing the pattern that your reality is built from. A change in pattern is the same thing as a change in feeling. In the instant that it is given an impression, the subconscious immediately starts to formulate the many ways in which it will express itself. The subconscious never fails to convey what it is impressed with. It acknowledges the emotion that has been imprinted onto it, which is your feeling, as a truth that exists within itself, and it instantly starts to generate in the external world its aim, which is something that is a perfect representation of that feeling. The ideas that a person adopts are never altered by the subconscious. Rather, it expresses them right down to the smallest detail, regardless of whether or not they are useful. In order to leave an impression on the subconscious with the desired condition, you need to imagine the sensation that you would have if you had already accomplished what you intended to do. When you are defining your purpose, you should just be concerned with the objective itself. You should not take into consideration the manner in which the objective is expressed or the challenges that are involved. Regardless of the condition, the subconscious is influenced by the thoughts and feelings that are connected to it. As a result, if you focus more than anything else on challenges, obstructions, or delays, your subconscious, due to its non-selective nature, will take the sensation of challenges and obstructions as your request, and will then continue to manufacture them in your external environment. The subconscious is the matrix of creativity. It is the one that comes into contact with the idea via the emotions that a person experiences. The notion that it absorbs is never altered by it, yet it always manages to give it shape. Because of this, the subconscious is able to convey the concept via the picture and similarity of the sensation that it is experiencing. In order to imprint the subconscious with the concept of failure, it is necessary to experience a state of condition of despair or impossible. It was formerly believed that the connection between the subconscious and man was that of a servant to his master. However, this is not the case, despite the fact that the subconscious serves man diligently. Prophets from the past referred to it as the slave and servant of man, respectively. Hymn's sentiments are dutifully shaped by the subconscious, which serves him faithfully. Nevertheless, the subconscious has a strong aversion to being forced to do anything, and it reacts more to being persuaded than to being ordered to do something. As a consequence of this, it is more characteristic of a devoted wife than of a servant. The conscious and the subconscious, as well as the masculine and female parts of awareness, are both affected by this observation. According to Paul, the mystery that he was referring to when he stated, "This is a great mystery. He who loves his wife loves himself, and they two are to be one in the flesh," is simply the mystery of awareness. Consciousness seems to be split into two, yet it is really one and inseparable from creation. The subjective subconscious is subordinate to the objective conscious, which is the true leader of the organization. The leadership in question, on the other hand, is not that of a dictator, but rather that of a lover. The subconscious is thus encouraged to develop something that is an accurate representation of its assumption by assuming the sensation that would be yours if it were already in possession of your aim. Your wishes are unconsciously accepted until you assume the sensation of their reality. This is because a concept can only be subconsciously accepted via the emotion, and it is only through this subconscious acceptance that it can ever be communicated. When compared to admitting that the circumstances of the world mirror your feelings, it is much simpler to attribute your feelings to the events that are occurring in the world. On the other hand, the adage that the outside reflects the inside is always and forever accurate. There is nothing that a man can have unless it is given to him from above, and the kingdom of heaven is within you. As it is within, so it is without. Nothing originates from the outside. Everything can be traced back to the inside. It is impossible for you to view anything other than the contents of your awareness via the subconscious. The objective consciousness is comprised of your whole reality, up to and including every detail. Objective states are witnesses to the impressions that are made by the subconscious. A change in the subconscious causes a change in expression, and a change in the subconscious causes a change in the outcome. The subconscious is able to accept as real whatever it is that you believe to be true, and since the creation is the consequence of subconscious impressions, you are able to decide the creation by your emotions. You are already that which you want to be, and the only reason you do not see it or recognize it is because you refuse to accept that you are already that. If you look outside for something that you do not believe you are searching in vain. This is because we never discover what we are looking for. We only find what we are. To put it simply, you are only able to express and own that which you are aware of being or already holding. Whoever already has it will get it. Through the process of appropriating the sensation of having one's desires realized and denying the facts that the senses provide, one might arrive to the fulfillment of their desires. Achieving self-mastery over one's thoughts and emotions is the most significant accomplishment one can attain. You may, however, make use of sleep and prayer to aid you in fulfilling your intended wishes until you have attained this level of control over yourself to the point where you are able to feel absolutely all that you want to feel, rather than focusing on how you look. The subconscious may be accessed via these two portals. The subconscious is accessible via the natural gateway that is sleep, which is the life that takes up 1/3 of our time on earth. As a result, we are now dealing with sleep. Our level of attentiveness to sleep is a good indicator of how much conscious attention we devote to the first 2/3 of our lives on earth. As if we were going on a date with the person we love, our awareness of joy in what the dream has to bestow would compel us to set out for it night after night, just as if we were going on a date with that person. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men as they sleep in bed, then he opens men's ears and gives them their instructions. Job 33. An individual is able to access the subconscious in order to form his perceptions and get his instructions while he is sleeping and praying, which is a condition that is comparable to sleep. During these phases, the awareness and the subconscious join together to form a creative union. The masculine and feminine aspects of a person become synonymous with one another. It is during sleep when the male portion, also known as the conscious mind, departs from the world of senses in order to search for its lover, also known as the subconscious half. Although the subconscious does not have any desire to alter the conscious or waking state, it does accept it in its current form and faithfully reproduces its resemblance in the world of form that is external to itself. Children are made from the molds of the imprints that are formed by your subconscious, and the situations and events that occur in your life are children. In the dream, they are created in the image and likeness of your deepest, most private feelings, regardless of how they really are. As it is in heaven, so it is on earth. As it is in the subconscious, so it is on the exterior. Those are the things that they are able to convey to you about yourself. The extent of your expression throughout the 2 aware thirds of your life is determined by whatever is there in your consciousness at the time you transition into sleep. Your incapacity to feel that you are already doing what you desire to accomplish, or that you are already in possession of the item that you seek, is the only thing that stands in the way of you achieving your objective on this planet. Only until you experience the fulfillment of your wants does your subconscious begin to give shape to those wishes. Because everything originates from inside you, the unconscious state of sleep is the usual condition of the subconscious. This is due to the fact that your perception of yourself is the primary factor that influences what comes out. Prior to going to sleep, you should always have the sensation that the desire has already been fulfilled. Never, via the depths of your own being, you will always deliver exactly what it is that you seek. That which you are, and you are that which you believe you are, as well as that which feels assured of others to be realized, is what you are. Once this is accomplished, the desire must be transformed into the sensation of being, experiencing, or seeing the condition that is desired. In order to achieve this goal, one must adopt the sensation of the desire that has been fulfilled. The sensation that arises in answer to the query, "How would I feel if my desire were fulfilled?" is the sensation that ought to captivate and paralyze your attention while you relax and prepare to go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, you need to be in a state of awareness where you are experiencing the sensation of being or having what it is that you want. Man does not have any freedom of choice once he is sleeping. The ultimate waking notion of his being entirely dominates his sleep from the moment he falls asleep. As a result, prior to going to sleep, he needs to constantly have the sense of having accomplished something and being satisfied because of it. You should come before me with song and thanksgiving. You should enter his gates with appreciation, and you should glorify his royal courts. During the moment when you enter the presence of the everlasting lover, the subconscious, your state of awareness is determined by the disposition of mood that you had before going to sleep. Your subconscious mind perceives you in the same way that you perceive yourself to be. In the process of getting ready for bed, you do, in fact, assume and continue to keep the knowledge of success. If you have the mindset that "I am successful," you will achieve success. Lay down on your back with your head in the same position as the rest of your body. Envision what it would be like to be in possession of your desire, and then allow yourself to relax into a state of oblivion. There is no sleep for the subconscious. The awake conscious mind has to enter sleep in order to creatively combine with the subconscious. Sleep is the portal through which this occurs. During sleep, the creative act is hidden, but when awake, it is shown to the objective world. When a person is sleeping, his or her notion of who they are is imprinted into the subconscious. According to Solomon's song, "By night, in my bed, I sought him whom my soul loves. I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and never left him, I until I brought him to my mother's house and to her chamber who conceived me." This is the most beautiful description of the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious that can be found. Getting yourself ready for sleep, imagine that you are in a state of fulfilled desire, and then allow yourself to relax into a state of oblivion. When you are lying in bed at night, you are looking for your desire to be realized. You are looking for the sensation of the desire that has been realized, so that you might bring it to the chamber of the woman who conceived you, to the dream or the subconscious that gave you shape, so that this want can also be expressed. Discovering and guiding your aspirations to the subconscious may be accomplished using this method. Imagine that you are in a condition of desire fulfillment, and then allow yourself to fall asleep in a calm and peaceful manner. Every night, you should adopt the sensation of being, possessing, and witnessing that which wishes to be, to possess, and to see realized. This should be done while you are sleeping. Always make sure you don't go to sleep feeling disheartened or dissatisfied. Never allow yourself to fall asleep with the awareness of being inadequate. Your subconscious, which is in a state of slumber by nature, perceives you in the same way that you think you are. However, regardless of whether the belief you hold is positive, negative, or neutral, your subconscious will faithfully portray your belief. In the same way that you feel, you imprint it on her, and she, being the ideal lover, gives shape to these impressions and speaks them as if they were the offspring of her beloved. All beautiful you are, my love, there is no stain upon you. It is important to develop this mental attitude before going to sleep. Throw away appearances and experience things in the way that you would want them to be, since he announces things that are not seen as if they were seen, and what was not seen becomes visible. Assuming the sensation of satisfaction is the same as declaring the circumstances that are indicative of contentment as if they were a factual reality. While signs come after, they do not come before. In other words, the evidence of what you are will come after the realization that you are, rather than coming before it. You are a dreamer who envisions endless dreams, yet your fantasies are not forever. Assuming the sensation of your dreams becoming a reality is the first step in giving them form. In light of the fact that nothing is beyond the capabilities of awareness, you should not confine yourself to the past. Start imagining states that are beyond the experiences that you have had in the past. It is possible for the imagination of man to actualize whatever that it can envisage. You made all of the visible objective states visible by adopting the sensation of their reality. All of the visible objective states were initially invisible subjective states for you. To begin the creative process, one must first envision, and then one must believe. The condition of the imagined constantly imagines and wishes for the finest possible outcome. Until you alter your perception of the world, it is impossible for the world to change. Similar to how it is inside, it is also outdoors. At the end of the day, nations and people are nothing more than what you perceive them to be, regardless of the nature of the issue, the location of the issue, or the individuals who are affected by it. When it comes to creating the change inside yourself, you have no one else to change except yourself, and you also do not have any adversaries or people to assist you. Convincing yourself of the reality of what you want to see materialized is the only thing you need to do before you can go on. Once you have been successful in persuading yourself of the reality of the condition that you are seeking, the consequences will follow to corroborate the conviction that you have already established. Instead of suggesting to another person the state you would want him to express, you should try to persuade yourself that he already has the qualities you would like him to have. Making the assumption that your need has been satisfied is the first step in achieving the manifestation of your wish. It is impossible to fail unless you first take the time to persuade yourself that your ambition is a reality. It is possible to confirm a change in belief by observing a change in expression. Your subjective lover constantly constructs the objective world in the image and likeness of your perception of it, so when you go to sleep each night, you should feel content and pristine from the inside out. Your conscious two-thirds of your existence on earth constantly corroborate or witness your subconscious perceptions. The notion that is defined by your emotions is always a witness to your subconscious impressions. The activities and occurrences that occur during the day are consequences. They are not causes. Only the freedom to choose is associated with free will. Make your decision now on who you will serve. The expression of the disposition that you choose to assume is the secret of the subconscious, but it is your freedom to pick the sort of mental disposition that you will choose to adopt. The only way for the subconscious to absorb impressions is via the emotions of man, and it is the subconscious that is responsible for giving these impressions shape and expression in a way that is only known to the subconscious. The impressions that a man has in his subconscious form are what dictate his behaviors. His conviction in the freedom to act, which he interprets as an illusion of free will, is nothing more than ignorance about the factors that lead him to take action. Due to the fact that he has forgotten the connection between himself and the occurrence, he believes that he is still free. The awakened guy feels compelled to communicate the impressions that he has been having in his subconscious, since it is only when he begins to modify his ideas and emotions that he will be able to change his reality. If in the past he imprinted anything on himself in an unwise manner, then let him begin to change his thoughts and feelings. Because thinking about and experiencing the errors of the past is the same as reinfecting oneself, that is why you should not squander a single second in regret. Permit the deceased to be laid to rest. Take a step back from appearances and imagine what it would be like to have the emotion that you would have if you were already what you want to be. Feeling a state causes that feeling to be experienced. Your perception of who you are will decide the role that you play on the stage of the world. Being able to experience the fulfillment of your goal and falling into a peaceful slumber, you decide to position yourself as the main star to perform your role on Earth. You will be trained on your part and will have the opportunity to practice tomorrow while you are sleeping. The acceptance of the aim results in the provision of the methods and the tools necessary for its actualization. Clarify this for everyone. If you do not consciously feel yourself in a state of fulfilled desire as you prepare for sleep, then you will carry with you into the chamber of the one who conceived you the totality of the reactions and feelings that you experienced during the waking day, and as you sleep, you will be instructed in a manner that will allow you to express them the following day. Before you wake up, you will have the misconception that you are a free agent, and you will be unaware of the fact that every action and event that occurs in the future will be predestined by the notion of self that you had before you went to sleep. The only freedom you have from that point on is the freedom to respond. Although it is up to you to decide how you will feel and how you will respond to the drama that unfolds during the day, the drama, acts, events, and circumstances that occur throughout the day have already been decided. If you do not deliberately and purposefully establish the mental attitude with which you go to sleep, you will unintentionally sleep in the mental attitude that is comprised of all of the emotions and responses that you experienced over the duration of the day. There is a subconscious impression that is left behind by every emotion, and unless it is counteracted by an opposing and more powerful sensation, it is the source of potential future actions. Creativity may be defined as the process by which ideas become emotions. Make intelligent use of your divine privilege. As a result of your capacity to think and feel, you have control over all that has been created. At this moment, you are a gardener who is choosing seeds for your garden while you are awake. However, a single grain of wheat is able to stand on its own until it is dropped into the ground and dies. However, if it does die, it will deliver a great deal of fruit. The seed that you plant in the soil of your subconscious is the idea that you have of yourself while you are drifting off to sleep. The act of falling asleep with a sense of contentment and joy leads circumstances and occurrences to materialize in your life, so validating the mental attitudes that you have. When you sleep, you open the door to paradise. The things that you include as a sensation are the things that you project into space as a condition, an action, or an object. So, go to sleep with the sensation that your desires have been satisfied. Therefore, it is on Earth, because it is awareness. At this point, we are going to dedicate ourselves to discussing prayer. In the same way that sleep is an entry into the subconscious, prayer is also an alternative. During the time that you are praying, you should enter your room, and after you have closed the door, you should pray to the Father in secret. Your Father in secret will answer your prayers in public. Prayer is an illusion of sleep that lowers the perception of the outside world and makes the mind more susceptible to suggestion from inside. Prayer is a kind of meditation. When we pray, our minds are in a state of relaxation and receptivity that is comparable to the sensation that we experience just before we go to sleep. It is not so much what you ask for in prayer as it is how you prepare yourself to receive what you are praying for. When you ask for something and believe that you have already got it, you will get whatever it is that you want. Your belief that the prayers have already been offered is the sole requirement that must be met. If you have the impression that it would be it for you, if you were already in position for your objective at the time that you accept the wish as a truth that has been fulfilled, then your prayer must be answered. It is the subconscious that discovers the mechanism by which it may be realized. Consequently, in order to pray effectively, you need to give in to the urge. That is to experience the fulfillment of the desire. The man who has perfected his discipline is constantly aware of desire as a fact that has been gratified, and he is aware that awareness is the one and only reality, that thoughts and sensations are facts of consciousness and are real as things in space. As a result, he never allows himself to experience an emotion that does not add to his pleasure. This is due to the fact that feelings are the factors that determine the actions and events that occur in his life. A guy who lacks discipline, on the other hand, has a difficult time believing anything that the senses do not acknowledge, and he often accepts or rejects something only on the basis of how it appears to the senses. It is vital to reject the evidence of the senses before starting to pray, before seeking to experience that which they deny. This is because human beings have a predisposition to depend on the evidence that they get from their senses. Whenever you find yourself in the mindset of, "I would like to, but I cannot," the more you force yourself to do something, the less desire you will feel to do it. You never attract what you want, but you always attract what you are aware of being. This is the guiding principle of your attraction. When you pray, you are practicing the skill of seeing yourself in a state of being and possessing what you want. When the senses affirm that the want is not there, any conscious desires that attempt to oppose this suggestion are rendered worthless and have a tendency to cause the suggestion to become more intense. To pray is to learn how to give in to one's desires rather than trying to force them. Whenever your feelings and your desires are in direct opposition to one another, the emotion will prevail. The feeling that is more prominent will inevitably make its presence known. Praying ought to be a natural process. When you make an effort to correct a mental attitude that is denied by the senses, you undermine your chances of effectively accessing the desire as a truth that has been satisfied. You are required to induce a condition of passivity, a kind of slumber or contemplative thought, which is analogous to the sensation that occurs just before one goes to sleep. The mind is able to readily detect the reality of the subjective state when it is in such a relaxed condition because it is able to disengage from the external world. In this condition, you are aware of your surroundings and have the ability to move or open your eyes, but you do not have the desire to do either of those things. Relaxing in a comfy chair or bed is a straightforward method for achieving this state of passive awareness. Lie down on your back with your head at the same level as your body, shut your eyes, and think that you are experiencing drowsiness. If you are on a bed, you should do this. Sensation. I am sleepy, very sleepy. Then, within a short period of time after that, you are engulfed by a sensation of remoteness that is accompanied by laxity, general relaxation, and a complete lack of will to move. You are experiencing a lovely and peaceful relaxation, and you have no desire to change your posture, despite the fact that you would not be happy in that situation under other conditions. Imagine that you have achieved this passive condition and that you have succeeded in achieving your goal, not in the way that it was accomplished, but merely the desire that was accomplished. Imagine in the form of pictures what it is that you want to do in your life, and then begin to feel as if you have already accomplished it. Small motions of speech are produced by thoughts, and these movements may be heard in the passive state of prayer, similar to the utterances that are heard outside throughout the day. However, this level of passivity is not required for the fulfillment of your prayers. All that is required is to generate a condition of passivity and experience the fulfillment of the desire. You already own all that you could possibly want or desire in your life. There is no requirement for a person to assist you in obtaining it. Declare your wishes to be a reality by visualizing and experiencing them as if they have already been accomplished. As soon as you embrace the conclusion, you become completely oblivious to the possibility of failure. This is because accepting the conclusion gives you the means to achieve the conclusion. It is like if you were shown the joyful and successful finish of a work as it emerges from the moment of prayer, but you were not shown how that satisfying and successful ending was reached. In spite of the fact that you have seen the conclusion, you are able to maintain your composure and sense of security because you are aware that the conclusion has been described in a manner that is precisely appropriate. According to the Lord of hosts, it was not by my will or my might, but rather by my soul. Step into the spirit of the condition you want to be in, and put yourself in the position of experiencing the sensation that you would have if it were already who you want to be. If you are able to have a sense of the sensation of the condition you are looking for, you will be liberated of any effort to make it a reality, since it already is. There is a certain emotion that is connected to each and every concept that exists in the mind of man. When you are able to grasp the sensation that is related with your realized want, you are able to assume the sensation that you would have if you were already in possession of the item that you desire. This allows your desire to become objective. The sensation that you have will be directed toward you if you have faith, since faith is a feeling. You never attract what you want, but you always attract what you are. This is the only thing that really happens, that whatever you consider yourself to be, you are, and it is given to you. To him who has, it will be given, and to him who does not have, it will be taken away. This is how a man perceives the world. That which you are, therefore, takes on the sensation that you would experience if it were already in possession of your goal, as well as your desire to see it come to fruition. Therefore, God made man in his own image, and therefore man was formed in the image of God. It is important that you have this mindset, just as it was in Jesus Christ, who, when he took on the form of God, did not consider it a theft to be on equal footing with God. Therefore, rather of believing in God or Jesus, you should think that you are God, or that you are Jesus. You are that which you feel you are. What Jesus meant when he said, "He that believes the works that I do, he shall do them also," should be interpreted as, "He who believes as I believe, he shall do them also." Jesus did not find it unusual to do the works of God because he thought that he was God. When you say, "I and my Father are one," it is only natural to carry out the actions of someone who considers himself to be exactly like you. Then, if you allow yourself to be the person you want to be, you will eventually become that person. When a man recognizes the significance of the guidance that is sent to him and puts it into practice, he creates a reality that is conducive to having success.